From One of One Production Studios, broadcasting from NYC, you are listening to Unexpected Success with your host, Joy.
Okay, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unexpected Success with me, your host, Joy. In the studio today, we have Lenny Hansen, aka Lenny The Barber. Hi, Lenny.
Hey, Joy. How you doing?
I'm so happy you were able to come by today.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course. And this is actually my first podcast in the new studio.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I'm so happy that you're the first guest.
That's what's up.
So for those of you who don't know, Lenny The Barber is a family man first. He prides himself in his love of family and his love of involvement with his children and others, which we'll get into at some point, I hope, which is awesome. I would describe Lenny The Barber as the master of the pivot. I think that he's made pivots throughout the course of his career, first starting out as a barber and now then going to be a party promoter and then later becoming, basically throwing events in arena-sized events, right? And so
Yes.
just like how, right?
Right. I guess, prior to me being a barber, I feel like I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but didn't really identify with it because I grew up in a household where both parents worked 9 to 5s, and
Right.
they didn't really promote that. They really didn't even understand it. I went to Norfolk State University.
Ow.
And
I went to Hampton.
Oh, that's what's up.
We're neighbors.
And I didn't graduate, but it's
So
all
what?
good.
It all works
But it's all
out.
good.
Right.
So my story, basically, I ended up doing what most of the younger dudes at that school ended up hustling for a little while,
Right.
and which of course I never had to, but it was just there.
The thing
So
to do.
I ended up-
Right. In
it's
Virginia during that
it's a
era.
ridiculous story behind how that ended up happening, but
Okay.
we could say that for another podcast. But nonetheless.
We can get into it. I mean, listen.
I mean, the truth is, like I said, I went to Norfolk, and everyone around me were hustling.
All right. What year was this?
80. I graduated 87, so 88.
Okay. All right. That was the prime time.
Yeah, and yeah, for sure. That was when it was hot.
Right.
Norfolk was extremely hot, and so I had these two guys. These two, they were pretty much the big time guys, and for some reason they took a liking to me, and they were like, you know what, you can't hustle. Don't ever try to hustle because you don't need to. Just stay your ass in school, and whatever
Right.
you need, we'll kind of take care of you, right?
Yeah.
So I did that. I mean, I was just kind of going to school, met my soon-to-be wife at Norfolk State. Well, at the time, soon-to-be.
Right.
So I was just kind of like riding on this path of going to school and kind of being able to go to all the parties.
Yeah. No, it was a good
hanging
time.
out
Yeah.
And being able to go to the mall and buy sneakers. I wasn't buying the sneakers; they were buying the sneakers.
Up against
So
the
every
wall.
every time they would go shopping, they would take me.
Right.
And
It's not a bad
so I was just
position
kind of
to be
living
in.
that hustle lifestyle without really hustling.
Right.
And so fast forward, I guess about a year, and my roommates were all pretty much hustling, and they had one of them brought their cousin down. It was the weirdest year of my life. But nonetheless, so they brought the cousin down. So they all talking about they bring in the Connect. The Connect is coming down.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, I didn't know what the hell a Connect was, but I'm like, fuck is a
But
Connect?
you play it off, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, the Connect's coming. That's cool.
Right.
So I go to school, go to class. That morning, actually, before I go to class, they're like, yo, he's coming today. And, everybody's really happy. And I'm like, it's kind of weird. Y'all kind of happy about another man showing up.
Right.
But, I'm not going to, whatever, but it's all good.
Yeah.
So I go to class. I'm not really moved by what they're saying. I mean, I guess it's cool. So come home. I lived in a townhouse.
Okay.
Thank God. I never had the real dorm life. I ended up living in my first year I lived in that was weird.
Did you live in a dorm the first year?
My first year I lived in a hotel.
What?
Yeah.
How did that work?
They ran out of dorm space, so they leased out a hotel.
Oh, come on. Norfolk State?
It was the weirdest shit. So it was like like a real hotel where we had room service.
That's kind of fly, though.
Maid service. We had cable television. It was nuts. It was a gift and a curse.
And that was part of your tuition? Like, with the room and board? Oh, that's pretty cool.
It was crazy. But so the next year is when I ended up getting an apartment with three other guys. So it was four of us in a townhouse. So I walk up to the town. I walk up and put my key in the door, and I guess they saw me coming up, so they opened the door. I was like, "Yo, he's here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Okay, right.
That's
And
cool.
you're pretty steady in general.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
you're not high or low. You're just kind of middle,
I don't
right?
really get excited for much.
Yeah.
So another gift and curse, I think.
Yeah.
That's some people. One of my friends told me that's kind of a gift and curse.
Right.
Nothing much moves me. Is what they say.
I can see it being an issue with it in a relationship, right?
Yes, it definitely is. But I do get excited about my kids. Like when they accomplish certain things, I definitely get excited about that.
Yeah.
I love to see people engaging as the result of my my work. So that's how I got into producing parties and stuff. 'Cause I love doing that. But to rewind back to the day of, so I walked. So our townhouse is like a walk up. So I walked up to the first to our second floor, and they're like, so the guy's in there. His back is kind of turned to me, and they're like, yo, what's up? It was like, so Lenny, this is, and the guy turns around. And he turns around and he goes, Lenny! And I said,
Oh my God.
Victor!
Oh, that's great.
So, needless to say, Victor was the connect. Victor, the reason why I knew Victor was because our backyards actually, we shared.
Connected. Oh,
as I was growing up. And he was a Dominican kid and from Washington Heights, and I never knew what his family did, never really cared. We were both kind of living the same type of lifestyle, whatever. And so Victor was the connect.
That's just,
and he was just like, so Lenny, what you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, yo, bro, like you're down here, like here, take this. And I started off with like, I don't even want to say how much.
Right.
But it was a lot.
Right.
Didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I quickly found out that lifestyle wasn't for me. And from having to, for having to actually, hustle, and then there's two sides of it. There's an upside where you have money and you can buy shit and it's all good, but then there's that other side where you can have some real beef on the streets.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
And you can be pulled into things that you have nothing to do with. So I find out one of the guys that was around me, he got locked up. He was a snitch, and he ended up telling, and everybody thought that I was the one that was snitching. So for a while,
oh my gosh,
I was living a lifestyle that I was living in a world of I want to say fear, but it was like I had to travel with a gun in my book bag, going to school, going to class, and that shit was not
And it's crazy because like it's so far from who you are.
Yeah.
But then you find yourself like living this life and you're like, whose life is this?
It was like the weirdest shit in the world.
Right.
And I made money during my 5-month hustling time period. But, I look back on it, man, it was not worth it. I've been in I've been all
kinds
a lot of things
stories
that people wouldn't have thought that.
Right, no,
those who know me back
right.
then know that I don't, I'm not really a fearful guy, but I'm not the guy that wants to go out and start busting. I'm not the nigga that's just bust my gun. Or, I don't want to talk about that shit. And most people who even find out that I used to do that are like, you used to do what?
No, but you know what's so crazy is, I mean, listen, people, no shade against the D-boys, but it's flattering to say people are like, would never think that of you. You know what I mean? Like for people to say, you did that?
Yeah, and
that's like the best compliment. Yeah. And no shade, I mean, I know, listen, I grew up in Queens. I know a lot of D-boys. It's not like, no shade against them, but ultimately some people are cut out for that life.
Yep.
And others are just not.
I am not. And
right.
I quickly found that out. Thank God one of my friends found out. The word got out that it wasn't me for us, so it kind of leveled, like life kind of leveled out, and I got out the beef that I was in at that time. But I realized, like, yo, I don't want to do this shit. Like, I don't like this side of the game. Like, this is not cool for me. So and thank God, I want to just say this out loud. My boy Smacks, he was one of the dudes that was the guys that took care of me when I was coming up. And when he found out what they were saying about me, and he asked me, he was like, so did you? Like, straight up, like, did you? And I was like, no, I don't even know what the hell was going on.
Right.
He was like, all right, then fuck that. Then they got beef for both of us. Like,
right.
so, It made me
and he
feel
had
better,
your back
and
all the way
nobody
around.
wanted it. Nobody wanted it from him. So
Right.
it was a good thing. I feel like that was God putting another
And it probably
angel
saved your
over
life.
me. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely
So
saved my
shout
life.
out to Smacks.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
So fast forwarding, I left Norfolk State, and with the exact number was I had
So you stayed for 2 years.
stayed for 2 years. I had $114 left. I purchased a $99 one-way ticket to come home.
Right.
Called my mom, said, "Mom, I want to come home. I don't want to be here anymore." She asked no questions, so shout out to Mom, because I know Mom
Shout
probably
out
thought
to
I was on some
Mom.
bullshit, but
Right.
she ain't never say why.
She
you
never
wanna leave?"
asked any questions.
She never asked any questions. She's like, "All right, come on."
So let's rewind to your. Let's rewind back to just your childhood and your upbringing. You know, so where are you from?
I am originally from 91st Street and First Avenue.
Okay. So you're a true Manhattan
Yes.
kid. Okay.
I claim Jersey, but I'm actually from
Manhattan. Okay.
But
Siblings.
Yes, I have 3 brothers, no sisters.
Okay.
Parents still together. Daddy driving, mama's still crazy. Driving
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome.
But yeah, I moved to Jersey, to Inglewood, New Jersey, when I was in 8th grade,
Okay.
and I want to say it was definitely a life changer for me.
Right.
I was more of a influenced kid than an influencer, and had I stayed in that neighborhood, I'm really not sure what would have
happened.
turned out to be.
Right.
With
So 91st and First was not a friendly neighborhood.
oh no, it was friendly and it's still friendly.
But you had
however,
elements.
I'm right down the block from where there was gangs all over. I mean, thank God, I was just a very likable kid. So most of the
Right.
guys that were hustling, most of the guys, all the OGs, they all liked me. So I was never really in harm's way, so to speak.
Right.
But there was this one day where my mother, myself, my brother, myself and my mom actually witnessed a gang fight. And these guys they were called the Ball Busters back then, from up in the 110th area, came down, and there was another gang in my neighborhood called the Budweiser Gang, which was white boys, and my mother and I were going to the car, and we witnessed the Ball Busters. There's about 100 of them, and probably about 30 of the Budweiser Gang, but the Ball Busters also had 100 bats.
Oh my gosh.
I remember to this day how they beat these guys with bats for, I don't know, 20 minutes. And I had never seen violence like that before in my life. And my mother was like, "We're getting the fuck out of here." And that's when, maybe a year later, we ended up moving to Inglewood, New Jersey. So.
And your family is from where?
St. Croix, Virgin Islands.
Oh, I love
I'm
St.
actually an island
Croix.
boy.
Did you ever go? Back?
Yeah, always.
When I was a kid, the only place that we went as family, all of our trips were in St. Croix.
Oh, wow.
And,
That's what's up.
my dad had a college buddy that got into some beef in Brooklyn and had to leave.
Right.
And he escaped to St. Croix.
Oh, wow.
And so we would leave and we'd go visit him and his family. His 5 kids,
Right.
lovely family.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Abrahams, Ralph Abraham,
That's what's up.
rest in peace, and family. I love you guys. Anyway, so that's just
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah.
So I'm from St. Croix, and so we moved to Jersey in my 8th grade year, and thank God she moved us, because I didn't grow. I grew up in, they weren't projects. Well, they were projects back then. Now they're, of course, condos. But
yeah.
It was definitely a different life for us to been able to pull up in our own driveway.
It's a game changer. Grass.
Yeah, grass and trees and
Right.
backyard. And, all
And
that
your
shit.
brothers, are you the youngest?
I'm the oldest.
You're the
of 4.
oldest.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
so
the oldest of 4.
so that that increases towards your responsibility, right?
Indeed.
Having that, right?
Indeed.
Are you close to your brothers still?
I am close. Wish I was a little closer, but
Right.
yeah, I'm somewhat close. My youngest brother and I probably are the closest, because he loves entertainment. I'm into entertainment. He's a DJ,
Right.
so we kind of gel. For the
Your
most part.
brothers, did they take a corporate route, or they just?
One of my youngest brother, he's I want to say he works for AT&T and he teaches. The other one, the one above him, he works for Con Edison. He's a welder, and the one
Welding
above him
is popping right now.
and below me, he's an artist, so he does airbrushing and
Okay.
all that stuff.
So So that's interesting to me because I think that it's very rare that parents allow their kids to go into the arts. So your parents allowed you to be creative.
Well, that's funny. So that you asked that. So I left Norfolk, came home.
Right.
Came home. My mother ended up getting me a job with 9X Telephone Company, which is now AT&T.
Right.
I feel like I just shot a commercial, but 9X now is AT&T.
Right.
And I was 20, not even 20 years old, I guess, and I was making $23 an hour, which was a lot of money for a kid back then.
Yeah.
So I worked there for about a year, and I remember they cut my pay. So he cut my pay from $23 an hour to like $20 an hour.
Right.
Mind you, I was making more money than anybody, all my friends, anybody,
Right.
most parents. You know what I mean?
I guess I know a lot of people that make $20 an hour today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So yeah.
But I got so pissed, right? So I was like, yo, what the fuck? They able to just like cut my pay like that?
Right.
Like it's just, they can just do that?
Right.
And mom was like, yeah, they can. They actually can. So I was like, you know what? I want to do something else. So that happened around, I'll say December. It had to happen around December. So I was in that mode of like, I want to do something else and whatever. So one day I sat down, it was around Christmas. I sat down in my barber's chair, Chris Valentine in Inglewood. Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris.
And Chris whispered in my ear, he was like, yo, man, I made $500 in the last day and a half. So it was like 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm like, what you mean you made $500 last day and a half? He was like, yo, I don't know. Money just kept coming in. I kept cutting, So needless to say, the next day I went out and purchased some clippers. And I went for a quick tutorial with Chris. He kind of, told me a couple things, and I started beating up my little brother's heads. They had no choice but to get a haircut.
You had the hood license.
Yeah, I had the hood license.
Right.
I was free, so then all my friends, everybody started come get their haircuts for me. And I was twisting everybody's hair back. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, right?
Pushing hairline.
All day pushing niggas' hairlines back. All day. But I kept going, right? It was something that I loved. I thought it was so cool that I was able to do it. And then I started cutting my own hair. And that's how I actually started perfecting how to cut hair. Still wasn't that good, but I was doing pretty good on myself.
You were good enough, right?
And so let's fast forward. So I finally got to the point where I was like, yo, I just want to cut hair. I don't want to be here anymore. So my ex-wife, Gail, I don't believe, we weren't married at the time. We were engaged. And so mind you, I'm coming from a $20 an hour $20 an hour, getting paid $20 an hour. So she was like, look, you need to make $328 a week, and we can pay our bills. So that's what you get. If you can make that cutting hair,
right,
then by all means go and cut hair.
So she was supportive.
She was supportive. So shout out to Gail.
Shout out to Gail, right?
I'll say it 100 times over. All my customers, everybody that knows Lenny the Barber, I would not have been Lenny the Barber if she wouldn't have gave me that push. Like,
that's awesome.
She 1,000% gave me that push.
That's awesome.
And hence, I feel like that's why I'm forever indebted to her for who I became. But I love her differently because of that. Like, you don't find someone that will take, because she in addition to me working and making what I'm making, she's making what she's making. So we have a certain lifestyle that we are able to
right, of course.
Right? So we can buy whatever we want, go where we want, fly away.
Yeah.
Wherever.
So how old are you at this point?
So I must have been 23.
Like, that's crazy, Lenny, that like at 23 you're thinking about dual income, and like that's just nuts. Yeah, I got married at 33.
I believe I got married too young, but
right. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying that it's a certain maturity that has to take place for someone to think about dual income at 23.
Absolutely.
I mean, our parents did it, right? But that's a different generation.
Absolutely. So I started cutting hair. I went and look, all of this is all God. So my whole story is ordained by the Lord, because I don't know. There's no other way that all the things I'm telling you to explain it, right? So I ended up going to my mother's friend who worked with her at 9X. Her husband is a gentleman by the name of Sam Gore, who owned a barbershop called Sam Gore's in Harlem, which at the time was back then it was like Jerry's Inn and it was Sam's Gore. So Sam Gore was like the biggest and popping shop in Harlem. So
and what are the chances?
And what are the chances, right? So my mother was like, asked her, you think you can get Lenny a internship, or if he can get a job there, whatever. And she was like, I'll tell you what, he's gonna get a job there. Like, that's what he wants to do. I'm gonna just talk to my husband and he's gonna give him a job.
Yeah,
so that's
awesome.
When the queen speaks,
right, it happens.
Shit happens, right? So went in to go meet Sam, and I told Sam, what I need to make
Yeah.
a week. And again, Sam was like, look, so I'll tell you what, you need to make 328. So the way I get paid, the deal here is 60-40 split. You make 60, I get 40%. It might have been first, whatever it was.
Right.
I'm gonna say he got 40. He said up until you feel comfortable paying rent, and then rent is $200 a week, and then you know, whatever. He said, but you don't have to pay. Your 60-40 will start after 328, as opposed to it starting from 0, which normally is the way it goes, right?
Right. Of course.
So that was God. I mean, like, why would he? Why would this guy, I mean, I'm sure his queen made him say, whatever, but he could have still, it didn't have to go that way. So he actually gave me that comfort level to leave what I had going on.
Right. And you know what's crazy is that I know that you're a business owner and so you get it, but you're also, it's like if you start somebody out with a cushion of what they need to make, you'll be able to tell if what they're made of. If you're still driven to make more, he wants you.
Yes.
If you're going to just take your 328 and coast,
no,
it ain't going to work. But the point is that he did that to satisfy his wife. If you would have been a bozo and got rested on your laurels, you're like, well, baby, I gave him a chance. He ain't really want to work.
Right.
But then you exceed that. He's like, oh, we got a winner, right? You can see your drive.
Yeah, for sure. So
that's really smart.
I ended up cutting hair. So I got my job Sam Gore's 12 chair shop. Very busy. All the barbers used to I was that barber literally that when a customer walked in the door and went to my chair, they were all like, he's about to fuck him. Literally.
I love it.
I was that barber. You could hear the chatter in the background, and it was what it was.
Right? Yeah.
So so I did that for maybe 2-3 months, and here comes my another angel. So this one of my customers, this dude that just came home from jail.
Right.
Don't remember his name, but he really, when I tell you the story, it's nuts. So he used to come in and get, back then we used to do what was called an Afro blowout. So it was like either chemical blowout or you got a regular blowout. And chemical blowout was basically putting relaxer on the guy's hair and you wash it out. And you
this is Harlem. This is Harlem
yes.
in 19.
This is Harlem. Shit. I'm 50 now. So
yeah. So like the Craig Mack, was this 95? Is this 94?
95. I'm not good.
Because Craig Mack had like a
so
lot of them dudes had
Craig
that same
Mack
era. So
yes.
like 94.
Yes.
Yeah, around that. Okay.
Around 94. Yep. That's a good.
R.I.P. Craig Mack.
R.I.P. Craig Mack. And so I was, I used to cut this guy's hair and I used to tear him up straight like that, right? So one day he came in and he saw the chatter again. And he said, you know what? I see how everybody's teasing you, man. That shit is whack. Mind you, good looking guy. He's always fly. Whatever.
Right.
But for some reason he would keep coming back to me. So he said, I'll tell you what. He said, I'm gonna come back to you every single week until you get it right. He said, I know you. He said, I don't really care. I got money. I got women.
Wow.
I got whatever I need. He said, I don't really care about my damn hair. So I'll be back here every single week until you get it right.
Wow.
And, so fast forwarding, I would only cut his hair. I was only he was the only blowout that I would do. Other than that, I would just do lines and Caesars and shit that was really, really easy.
Right.
But then at the same time, what I was doing in my downtime was I was studying all the barbers
that
in
were
the
doing
barbershop.
well.
So I would take his line, I took his fade, I took his speed, I took the way he did his afro. In addition to my ex-wife was from DC, so back then they used to have this haircut called a temple taper.
Yeah.
So I kind of took that temple taper and I added it to the afro,
which is huge,
and I started killing them. And I took all y'all niggas customers. I love it. All of y'all.
I love it.
Y'all know I'm telling the truth.
Right.
All y'all that hated on me in the barbershop. Shout out to y'all, though. Appreciate y'all. Real talk. I appreciate y'all barbers in the barbershop that was hating on me. But nonetheless, so when I decided to start coming out and doing haircuts, I ended up taking a lot of barbers' clientele.
Yeah.
And my clientele went from 0 to 100 in a year.
Wow. And what's Sam saying now?
Sam's happy, of course.
Right.
And then so with me being one of the top barbers, I started throwing parties. So now I got women coming in.
So let's talk about that. So how do you then go from I'm a top barber to I want to start throwing parties? How does that even? What's that thought pattern?
Myself and about 3 other Geminis threw a birthday party at this brownstone in Harlem. I don't know if you remember the video "One More Chance" by Biggie when
I was there.
Heavy D's outside. Like,
I was there. Yeah.
So to this day, I swear to God, they took that from my party because.
Oh really?
Oh, I swear to God. But nonetheless, whatever.
Right.
Because it was at a brownstone. It looked like the same brownstone.
Right.
But nonetheless, so we started throwing a party. I threw a party there for my birthday, and we made some good money. And my ex-wife and I were like, "Yo, we should do this shit again." So.
Wow.
So then we went back to the three people that we did the party with. It was like, yo, we want to do it again. So they were like, we're not party promoters. Like, we're not doing that. So I'm like, okay, like we're gonna do it our own. So my wife and I, we just we did it again, and I believe the reason why we obtained so much success at that level, which was pretty low. We used to bring in about maybe 300 to 500 people every time, but most promoters don't like going to give out their own flyers. So I was the flyer guy, right? I didn't mind giving out flyers. It was kind of high. It was like a high for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do it for the money. I really did it to have fun. I was making $3,000 a week cutting hair. Like
you were good.
I was good. It was fine.
And then you could put your flyers in the barbershop, right?
That was the key.
And then you
what
had
I did
like
was my marketing tech, which I didn't even know was marketing back then.
Right.
I would go to all the barbershops and beauty salons in Harlem, Queens, and Jersey.
That's so old school.
Yeah, and I would give each barber and beautician a ticket.
Right.
And what that did was it had them talking to their customers about the party.
Yeah.
And the name just grew, and the party.
It's crazy because I used to go to New Tribe, and I'm a Queens girl, so I used to go to New Tribe, and I used to see the flyers. Like I heard about you for years. Like for years, I heard about you, and like I never met you, but I would always hear about you, and I would see flyers.
Right.
I remember distinctly seeing flyers.
I had them everywhere,
right.
And I was my own street team.
Right.
And so I feel like that was definitely a large part of my success in throwing parties was that I kind of did everything. I knew where to go. You know, I wasn't afraid to hand out flyers. I wasn't afraid to hand somebody a flyer and they throw it in the air and whatever. Like,
yeah.
That never bothered me because most of the time my train of thought was like, you're the guy throwing my flyer on the floor, like I'm the street teamer.
Right.
But I'm actually.
But it's my party.
It's my party.
Right.
And I'm more than likely to make more money than you, fam. So it really.
But the beauty of it, right? The beauty of it is like, so that's one of the gifts of being kind of even because. You don't get affected by the person that puts the flyer in your bag. You're no more excited about the person that puts it in their bag than the person that's throwing it on the floor. You're kind of like, whatever you want to do, you do.
Right.
It's mine. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Right. And that kind of like lack of fear of rejection is really, really important. I think a lot of times, a lot of listeners maybe fear of rejection, fear in general, is the reason why 99% of people don't do anything.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? So that, take a note out of Lenny the Barber's book, right? Don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Like, who cares?
I do have some fear of rejection.
Right.
It's mostly surrounding women. Like
right.
Going at a woman, like I don't really know how to. I don't really step to women. Like, hey, can I buy you a drink?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So Gail, you married Gail. How old were you?
25.
25.
Yes.
Okay. Shout out. And so as amazing as Gail sounds, and amazing as you guys sound in terms of life partnership, and I guess you guys still are life partners to a certain degree.
Yes.
But what made you guys decide that being married didn't work anymore?
It was me.
Okay.
I got caught up in the Lenny the Barber lifestyle.
Right.
And kind of got to a point. We had my first daughter, and I was young.
Right. Super young.
I was young, and I was young. I was young,
right.
and I didn't know what being a real man was.
Right.
So today, as a real man, I can say that looking back on that time, I was Lenny the Barber. So when I walk outside or go to a party, you got chicks willing to swing off a chandelier for you, right?
Right, of course.
But when you go home to your wife that's working and
holding the house
down, right?
Right.
You're like, oh shit, well, you ain't swinging off the chandelier. Like,
right. And as a matter of fact, you got an attitude.
Right. And so, but the reality of that is like, bruh, like you should be coming home and nurturing your wife and helping her with the kid, and then she will swing off those chandeliers.
Oh, absolutely.
At night,
right?
But I'm still so stuck in the guy. I never left. I didn't leave Lenny the Barber at the door.
Right.
So I bought Lenny the Barber in the house, and you know, I just
that's powerful.
I just didn't realize what I had at
Right.
the time, and she was a great woman, and the dope thing about her is she knew what was happening. She knew why
You were getting caught up.
I was getting caught up.
Right.
She grew up. She had an older brother, and she had friends, and her friends talked to her all the time about their female situations and whatever. So she kind of had a good idea of what I was going through.
That was part 1 of this 3-part episode with our guest, Lenny Hansen, aka Lenny the Barber. For episode 2, check us next week.
This podcast was brought to you by 23DB Productions, ID Productions, and One of One Productions. For more information, go to Facebook and Instagram, Unexpected Success with Joy.